Please, what is that? Don't tell me. It's all on the Reflexes.
You're listening to All on the Reflexes, an unrepentant vivisection of geek news and culture.
It's all on the Reflexes.
With the comedy rock geek Mikey Mason, the Brack of all trades Jeb Brack, Madison Matricula Roberts, and tech guy Steve.
It's all on the Reflexes.
I know, there's a problem with your face.
Hello and welcome to All in the Reflexes. I'm Jeb Brack.
I'm Madison Matricula Roberts.
And this is Tech Guy Steve.
Quick announcement, coming up very, very soon is the third annual May the 4th Be With You art show at the Brew House here in Cincinnati. I've got artwork in it again this year. A lot of my friends do as well, and there's some really terrific stuff. I got a preview of it earlier this week. If this follows past trends, there will be a full-sized working R2-D2 in attendance.
Wow.
You can get your pictures taken with him and everything like that. It's pretty awesome.
Does he fly?
He does not fly. No. And he also does not have a little person living inside. It is run by remote control, I'm afraid. But it's really cool and it's fun. And the Brew House is a great place to get a burger and a beer. So, and then that show will be up all the month of May. So there you go. Come on by. Personally, I've been working on a bunch of new material, written essays and illustrations for the Random Encounters series of RPG supplements that was created by a friend of the podcast, Jason Brick. The illustrations are for the omnibus edition of his first series that should be out in print by the time Fear the Con happens. And then right after that, we're starting an all-new season of new books with new material. They're like 99 cents on Amazon as ebooks, and each one has 20 plus little essays about role-playing topics that are really thought-provoking and very cool. So if that sounds like something you're into, check those out, and then maybe even purchase the omnibus edition when it comes out, because it will have drawings and illustrations by yours truly inside.
Congratulations. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Madison, how about you? What's going on?
Not too much. I'm by the time this comes out, RavenCon will have already happened, but I am drowning in packing for RavenCon.
Yeah.
I am completely disorganized, and I have several lists, but I've done better.
It will have been was awesome.
Yes.
I hope my shows were wonderful.
Yeah, you'll have to give us an update.
I love everyone.
Because this is your first year, right? First year at RavenCon?
Yeah, first year at RavenCon, so I'm excited to go to the con, and because I haven't gone to a lot of the stuff in Virginia, so it's breaking into that Virginia market. So
cool. Steve, how about you?
So VRV, like I said, has a lot of different streaming channels, and even though I mostly watch Crunchyroll, there's other stuff. And I watched a ton of these little 5 to 7 minute animated cartoons. It's called Bravest Heroes. It's the same team that created Adventure Time. Absolutely loved Adventure Time, and but apparently that belongs to the network that he sold it to, and so he doesn't have the right to reshow it or whatever. So he created a totally different one with very similar kind of characters and some of the same voice actors, but it's like super far future sci-fi superhero, and so it's a but it feels very similar because like totally wacky, adventures with crazy aliens, and the plot doesn't really make a lot of sense in each episode, but it's amazingly good. So if you get a chance, it's worth they're like popcorn. I mean, like 5 to 7 minutes, and you're like, I can watch another one. I can watch another one. And then like 2 hours later, and you've watched 20, and you're like, whoa.
Awesome. Well, we'll have a link to those so that you guys can check them out if you want to. Let us move on to the news.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
It's been a sad week as far as notable people passing away. It's one of our largest in memoriam sections we've ever had. Former First Lady Barbara Bush died at the age of 92. She is one of the only two people who was both mother and wife of a president. R. Lee Ermey, the Golden Globe nominee as the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket, has died at age 74. He was also the voice of the Army man Sarge in the Toy Story movies.
He practically became like a archetype for that character. The gunny sergeant.
Yeah, he really created his own view of it. And from what I understand, he was brought on as a consultant on that movie. But then when Kubrick heard him doing his shtick, he put him in front of the camera and he just reeled off that opening 5-minute sequence where he insults people just off the cuff and catapulted himself into screen history. Radio host Art Bell passed away at the age of 72. If you like conspiracies and you like aliens and you like Sasquatches and crypto creatures and crazy call-ins, well, Art Bell was your guy because he created the radio show Coast to Coast.
You're a big conspiracy fan, Madison. Did you ever listen to Art Bell?
I have, because you can get like a lot of the little replay classic Art Bell as like parts of podcasts and stuff, and it's, man, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I remember listening to him. I swear it was like AM, late at night. And it felt like crazy pirate radio. Like, why is this guy on AM radio at midnight talking about alien sightings?
Yeah. And he always took his callers seriously, no matter how nuts he was. Dana Gould has a bit where he actually heard Art Bell say something like, "I'm not saying you're not the Antichrist, sir. What I'm saying is we did a show on the Antichrist last week, and you were not one of the 17 people who called in."
There's a kindness there.
Yeah, that's right. Also, Harry Anderson passed away at the age of 65 in his Asheville home. Most people know him as the Judge Harry Stone on Night Court, but his real love was magic.
Yep.
He started out as a con man, doing the shell game until he got his jaw broken by one of the suckers. And after that, he decided he would do it as entertainment instead of trying to scam people out of their money, which turned out to be a good choice. He did one of his signature tricks was the needle through arm, and the whole time he would be doing it, he'd be telling you it's a trick, as blood is just pouring out of him. I have a few of his magic tricks that he marketed to the general public, and also a couple of his books on being a flim-flam man, and he was just endlessly entertaining. So
yeah, I used to like that show. I don't think it holds up if you rewatch it.
No.
Some people disagree, but at the time it was so crazy and fun because he was. You think of a judge, you think of an old person, very staid and stodgy. Yeah. And he was this young and hip, and he would put his sneakers up on the desk, and he was always funny, and he was doing tricks, and so Night Court was actually pretty funny stuff.
Yeah. And that was during the golden age of the sitcom too. I mean, it was surrounded by Cheers and shows like that. So yeah, I'm going to miss him. I always thought he was tremendous fun to watch. Another person who was close to my heart, Carl Castle, the NPR newscaster, passed away at the age of 84 from complications due to Alzheimer's.
We've all heard his voice for decades.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yes, indeed. And he later on in his career, he became the judge and scorekeeper on Wait, Don't Tell Me, showing that he had a gift for comedy as well. A lot of people don't know he was also an amateur magician, that he really loved doing magic tricks. I was actually on Wait, Don't Tell Me one time, years and years ago, and so I got to speak to Carl Castle. And when they said, "It says here you're a magician," and I was like, "That's right." And I got to tell you that if I can win this and get Carl Castle's voice on my home answering machine, all the other magicians are going to be so jealous of me. And Carl Castle said, "No, I'm jealous of you guys." I was like, "Oh," and then I lost the game. So I never did get it. But so he will be missed as well. So that's our In Memoriam section. A lot of folks lost this week. So let us get on to some other news. Thanks to the dutiful reporting of this very podcast, Justice is being served as Stan Lee has sued his ex-manager for fraud and stealing his blood. And I think it is entirely due to our efforts reporting this last week.
We called it.
That's right.
Good job, Madison. You're the one who found that article.
Felt it. My intuition just spoke to me.
That's right. So, yeah, it's hard to say who exactly is helping Stan with the lawsuit and that sort of thing, but he is in fact suing his ex-manager for fraud and for stealing his blood in a money-making scheme, maybe to sign comics. So
that is so bizarre.
Yeah,
so
called
bizarre.
it. I called it.
Yeah, and here I was last week saying I can't be real. I don't believe it. Well, now we've got a lawsuit.
Was it you or Jeb that was the Roseanne show wouldn't be a hit?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I am out of sync.
I didn't think it would be either, but I was not as bold as Steve in making my prediction that it would not. So I'm safe.
Yes, sadly, I have to admit that I'm no longer hip with the kids.
Well, I mean, it's hard to. The blood thing is weird. The blood thing's real weird.
Real weird.
Yes, it is. So, in a week full of news, both sad and amazing, MSNBC has decided to remove the scrolling ticker at the bottom of the screen unless there's an actual emergency. And I know that might not mean a lot to a lot of people, but that's been one of my biggest annoyances with news channels. The most interesting news, the important stuff that you want to see, is text at the bottom of the screen. Meanwhile, they've got talking heads that just blather on and on and on and repeat themselves over the same nothing story.
Well, and what happens in most places is they put the news on, but they put it on mute, and so you can read the news ticker.
That's a
still
good
know
point.
what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder. I didn't see how they how are they going to answer that? So is MSNBC not on in airports or bars or something?
Right.
It's all Fox News from here on out.
That's right. Well, there's still CNN, aren't they?
Yeah,
well-respected?
CNN still uses the ticker. But the ticker takes up like the bottom third of the screen sometimes.
Yeah.
And the other issue is
the real issue is that now any movie that has been shot prior to this is going to be instantly dated if they
because
use
you'll
a
see
newscast.
the sticker.
That's right. You'll see the news ticker scrolling by with stuff, and you'll go, that was shot in the 2010s.
That was pre-2018.
That's
MSNBC.
right.
Before time.
I know what was annoying is that everything would be the breaking news alert, dun dun, breaking news, dun dun, and you're like, it's not breaking news. One more sentence was added to some court case, and you've already covered it like 18 times. You can't keep saying, dun dun, breaking news.
Well, they can. That was the whole point, was to make it feel like there was an urgency to it. And
yet they're not.
Yep. So, here's some breaking news.
Dun dun.
Will Ferrell was recently in an auto accident. His chauffeured SUV was in a rollover crash on the northbound number 5 freeway in Mission Viejo. He was among 4 people who were hospitalized after 2 cars collided. Evidently, one car drove into Ferrell's limousine, and Ferrell's limousine went up on the median strip and rolled over. But
wow.
The reports are that at worst he suffered minor injuries. There's video from the scene that he's on the gurney being put into the ambulance, but he's sitting up and he's talking on his cell phone, probably telling his family, "I'm fine.
Please don't worry."
Yeah, it's okay.
But we learned from the Princess Diana case and others that because people in the back of the limos rarely ever wear seatbelts, they end up bouncing around the inside of the car when there's an accident.
Yeah. And so I'm glad he's not hurt, and I hope that nobody else was either. It looks like nobody suffered particularly serious injuries in that crash. So
yeah, I'm glad we didn't have to add another name to the in memoriam.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we've had a lot of weird nature news coming up lately, and it turns out there are some fish with a switchblade in their heads. So stonefish are this kind of creepy, spiny, like reef-dwelling fish, and they're super poisonous, and they're also like just full of weird self-defense mechanisms. And it turns out they figured out that they have, at University of Kansas, stonefish also have hidden quote-unquote switchblades on their face that they can flick out whenever they feel like they're in danger.
Whoa. Is not University of Kansas in a landlocked state? Right? This sounds to me like speciesism, that they're just afraid of fish. Oh, those fish, you don't want to go near them. They'll flick a switchblade on you, man.
Yeah, the two coasts are dangerous.
That's right.
Like, we're here safe in the middle. So it's technically called it's like a bony protrusion called a lacrimal saber, because it's in between it's under the eyes, which is
that's
lacrimal
awesome.
saber is a very cool name.
It is very
It's
cool.
it's just got like a little defense mechanism where it can spike up a little bit. Yeah.
That's the name of a YA series, man. Lacrimal sabers.
Or I was thinking a Stonefish Man would be an awesome name for a superhero.
Yeah, that's
Poisoning
right.
spines all over his body, blends in with the background, has a face blade pops out.
But it takes him so long to put on his outfit because he's got to get all those little protrusions and, spines through the armholes and stuff. Oh, snagged on it again. Doggone it.
Oh, man.
That is cool. So somebody made something really funny. There are links in the show note. You go watch it. It's Death Note, which is an anime that came out a couple years ago where a character has this notebook from a god of death, and if he writes your name in it, you have a heart attack and drop dead. And they crossed it with SpongeBob. So it shows SpongeBob writing in a journal. Them playing all the sound and music from Death Note, then all these characters in a SpongeBob cartoon falling over, flopping around. And what's bizarre is how perfectly it goes together. It blends amazingly well. So it's called, Death Note SpongeBob crossover. So too much fun.
Delight.
Not exactly news, but you really need to see it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it lighten your day. Yeah.
We all could use a smile. Talking about crossovers and spin-offs, Kathy Yan has been attached to direct a Harley Quinn spin-off movie starring Margot Robbie as the titular Harley Quinn. It's going to be loosely, it's kind of a girl gang movie, and it's going to be loosely based on the Birds of Prey comic, which featured a lot of the women of the DC universe fighting together, which will be very cool.
Yeah, Margot Robbie's usually everybody's favorite part of the Suicide Squad movie. So
yeah, well, and Harley Quinn is a fan favorite.
Yeah,
too. I mean, I don't get it myself, but hey, knock yourself out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. So they've got. I didn't see Suicide Squad. I just couldn't muster the ability to care.
Yeah,
but after. She'll be the second female filmmaker set to helm one of the DC films after Patty Jenkins with Wonder Woman. So that's good. I think it does help often, especially for comic book movies. I think one of the things that people mentioned in Wonder Woman is that so much of it was shot in not as male gazy gross ways. It's still plenty of eye candy stuff, but I mean, it just felt different. So if they do anything, basically all of DC needs to just make more of their movies more like Wonder Woman. To get people to care, because I won't lie, most of the other DC offerings have just not been very exciting to me or good.
All right, this may be jumping the gun a little bit because I'm going to talk about a movie trailer, but have you seen the latest and final movie trailer for Deadpool 2?
No.
No.
Okay, then I will just reference this line. Deadpool is fighting Cable, and Cable says some threat about what he's going to do to Deadpool, and Deadpool says, "Oh, so dark. Are you sure you're not from the DC universe?"
True.
So there's an extra trailer trasher. That trailer looks awesome. So
bonus trasher.
Cool. Well, in tech news, there's a app called Telegram, and its claim to fame is that it encrypts all of your communication on the device so that nobody, not even Telegram, can decrypt it. That's a problem for certain governments that insist on being able to read everybody's messages, including Russia. So Russia demanded that the people behind Telegram turn over the encryption keys so that they could then monitor their citizens, and Telegram refused. So they blocked the IPs.
Nice.
So Telegram moved their services behind Google's cloud infrastructure. It's kind of like servers in the cloud managed by Google. And they're like, now what are you going to do? Most of Google's stuff is here. So the Russian watchdog group blocked 1.8 million IP addresses. These are the internet addresses that are used for routing traffic on the internet in order to stop Telegram usage among their own citizens. So we don't know what exactly the fallout is going to be. A big chunk now of Google's cloud services are no longer work within the borders of Russia.
Wow.
Traditionally, the argument's been, this for decades now, they've said that the internet perceives censorship as a form of network outage and routes around it. It's the cute way of describing it. There's always another way. There's a way of encrypting or sending out through another path, through IP addresses that are managed by someone else. So we don't know yet, but usually when government wages war against a tech company, the government's going to end up winning, especially within their own borders. But this also kind of shows how extreme a government can be when they say, we want to be able to monitor all the communication of all of our citizens, no privacy, no right to privacy, nothing. And then they come up against a tech company that's like, that's not the way we work. So,
no, I wish Telegram well then,
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck with that. But I wonder if that's going to make them a target for Russian hackers,
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Yeah, state-sponsored hacking. Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Good luck to you guys. I don't know that I'd want Mr. Putin drawing a bead on my butt.
No.
Well, that's our news for this week. Let us get to the real trailer that we're going to trash today.
This will make for one epic trailer.
The Meg. When I first saw the name, I was like, is that some sassy middle school girl? And I'm not saying it's not a sassy middle school girl. It just happens to look like a giant shark. The Meg is referring to a megalodon, which was a prehistoric shark, many times larger than any current existent member of the shark family. And so, it's an action movie. It doesn't look as stupid to me as what's the Sharknadoes?
Well, it's hard to look that stupid.
But it's not that far behind either. What did you guys think of the trailer?
I thought it looked like a cross between Jaws and like The Abyss.
Yeah.
So you got scientists in an underwater laboratory or complex, and then you've got this massive shark that looks like it could swallow the world. And yeah, it looks like a dumb monster movie, but it's got some power behind it. I mean, Jason Statham, okay, he's a solid action hero. And then with your comic relief, you got Rainn Wilson. I thought his bits in the trailer looked pretty funny. So I don't hold out high hopes for this.
Do you remember that? Was it on Discovery Channel or something during Shark Week? They did a mockumentary about a megalodon, and a bunch of people thought it was real.
It was real. Yep, that's right.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's
one of my favorite
Shark Week thing, I think.
One of my favorite actresses in here is Ruby Rose. We saw her in the John Wick movies. She's a very cool kind of a female action star. And then we've seen Bing Bing Lee also in action movies. It kind of reminded me of a movie that came out in 1999 called Deep Blue Sea. That was about like genetically modified sharks.
Yeah, that were super smart.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty awful movie.
I know that there's a series of books about megalodons. I don't know if this is based on that. I'm suspect that it is. But I believe that there's a series of...
I think I heard of that series. It's where some chick has sex with them, right? I read those on Amazon.
A megalodon?
No.
Gotta bleep that one.
Yeah.
It was too hot to handle, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now, somebody put up this. Who put up this link? Unbelievable. Who was that?
Unbelievable. Someone showed that to me. Richard showed that to me a couple days ago, and I'm still having trouble dealing with what I just saw.
Exactly.
Let me try and be clear here. Is this an actual movie, or is it just a gag trailer? Because
it's got an IMDb listing
for an hour and 45 minutes. So let's start from the beginning.
Because I thought the same thing. I thought this was a joke trailer.
Yeah, but it's got a whole ton of recognizable and famous people in it.
Yeah, and what
Produced
caught
by
me...
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, the Snoop Dogg's the big villain.
Yeah, that's right.
But a lot of the people in here are actually people who did various roles in the Star Trek movies.
Oh, sure.
Including Marina Sirtis, Nana Visitor, Michael Dorn. Jeffrey Combs played an alien in a couple movies. He's mostly famous for the Reanimator series.
Oh, okay.
But he played an alien. Armin Shimmerman, a lot of these, Robert Picardo. These are all people who are in like the Next Generation and in other, Star Trek stuff, and they make appearances in this series. So that's pretty cool.
So the premise of this is basically like a save the world from evil plants, led by Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
But I just want to mention that there's a Captain Kirk figure that's an actual marionette puppet.
Yeah, they kind of
the only one.
Yeah, and it kind of
one.
resembled something out of Thunderbirds or Team America World Police.
Yep, exactly.
A very improper puppet.
Yeah, but they don't ever treat him. I mean, there are gags about the fact that he's a puppet, but nobody treats him. It's just he's just a puppet, but everybody else is real people.
Right.
And there's these bizarre monster movie plant monster costume. I don't know. You really do have to.
Yeah.
It has to be seen to be believed.
Yeah. Yeah, and since Snoop Dogg's in it, you got to get baked first.
Yeah,
that'll probably help you understand it.
Pot humor.
That when the evil plants take over the world, it's not unsubtle, maybe. So
the danger about these types of movies is a lot of things are funny in a 5-minute length and not an hour and 45-minute length. So I really don't know if they can maintain a funny movie with this kind of spoof for that long.
It's
We won't know till
I
it comes
Team
out.
America was funny.
It was, yeah.
The whole
That was
time,
a lot of
so
satire.
We'll see.
So, yeah, we'll have to see. Somebody's going to have to report on that one. I don't think it's going to be me.
So have you been playing any games, Madison?
Big fun.
Small price.
Yes. So I've mentioned over the last few weeks, I've been still playing a lot of Stardew Valley, but I picked up another iPhone game. This is available on iPhone or Android, but it's called Castle Cats. It's a freemium clicker cat RPG. So basically you are a cat and you get like your little cute regular house cat, but you've got like a cute little outfit you can put on and a bow and arrow, and you're the leader of a cat hero guild. And you go on and you collect members to your guild and you send them on little missions. Like, it's one of those kinds of games. There's some resource management, so you can upgrade things to get more cats to do this. And all the cats have like personalities and adorable costumes, and it's very, very cute. But the thing that surprised me is that it's weirdly story heavy. Like, it's extremely story driven. Especially for this kind of iPhone game. Like, you start out and like it gets you a couple members to your guild, and then there's this whole plot where you have to defeat the evil Pugomancer, and you have to like create alliances between these other cat guilds, but they don't want to have anything to do with you, so you have to come up with plans to like get them on your side. And there's like a tournament. It's weirdly intricate. Is what I'm trying to say. So if you like cats and you like role-playing games and you like clicker things, you would probably like this.
Weird though that it's story heavy with those limitations.
I know, yeah, and like the battle systems are not deep or anything, but it's just, and I'm not saying that it's like a super detailed good story necessarily, but it's like, it's just, I'm so impressed that it has one, but it has like, there's so much going on, and there's political intrigue, and
wow,
your little cats can get little like booties with like little plate mail, and it's very, very cute. So, and it's a free download. It's one of those ones where you can like buy coins to upgrade stuff, or you can earn coins slowly without paying. Like a lot of these games, they're usually fun for a few weeks until it starts taking too long to do stuff, and then you have to decide, do I want to start paying for gems, or do I want to just find another one? So I'm still in that period where everything's still really fun and easy to do, and I really want to get the Zenpaw cats on our side, but first we have to defend them from the... Oh, and the enemies are like zombie chihuahuas and stuff, because it's the Pugomancer. So, it's very cute.
That's too cool.
Good for all ages, so...
I have to say that I was holding my breath looking at this because, you got these cute kitties, and I was afraid you were going to tell us that you had to date them and, figure out how to have sex with them and stuff like that.
That was Nekojishi. I did that one a few weeks ago. So.
Yeah. So for that weird kind of vibe, I think we got to go over to Steve and his anime.
スティーブはとってもくだらない人でアニメを見るんです。What weird anime is Steve watching this week?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So I just finished.
Sound.
Yeah, well, I finished watching an anime, 13 episodes called Samurai Bride, and I believe its other name is Samurai Girls, because that's what came up in the like end credits. I can't recommend it. It's not terrible, but it's not good either. And let's go through the checklist. Does a girl fall from the sky? Yes. Does she's naked, has no memory? Yes. So that's the Born Yesterday shtick. Let's see. She's large-breasted, beautiful, and immediately has a crush on the protagonist who's never seen her before. Yes. So it's basically, they call it a harem anime, where it's a bunch of girls who are all, trying to get together with one dude. He's kind of super stoic and chaste follower of Bushido, the samurai way, and they're all in their own right, skilled swordsmen. But when they kiss him, it unlocks their samurai master powers.
Oh man!
And you're like, what?
Man,
there's a message.
Yeah, and I couldn't figure out, when is this supposed to be taking place? The history is a complete mishmash nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's like they're giving this whole back history about how these samurai girls with amazing powers have always defended historical Japan. And I'm like, what? When? What are you talking about? And then you're like, so this must be 1800s. No, they have B-52 bomber planes and stuff, and then I'm like, oh, so is this 1940s? No, they show all that in the first episode, but character in the beginning has a cell phone. So apparently, even though they show all that stuff, it's taking place in the current age. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then it's like, what is this, the setting? And it's got a shogun, it's got ninjas, it's got samurai and a samurai dojo, and, this is a high school. How can it possibly be a high school?
How are they putting all of this stuff in?
It's got the Back to the Future car, and it's got the Batmobile, it's got King Kong, and it's got references to D&D and Rush.
It's not Player One. It's, I get it, but yeah, it's really, you have to completely shut off your brain. The setting makes no sense. It's like the student class president is actually the shogun, who's charged with defending Japan. And his sister is the vice president who's in charge of this army of ninjas. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. I think it's rated TV MA. There's full nudity, boobs and butts. So it's not friendly for kids. There is some
because it sounded so friendly before this.
Yeah, well, there's implied sex, but then they kind of pull back and we were just kidding. So there's several scenes that imply full-on sex, but then they kind of pull back and it was a joke. That's not what it really was. So it's all about titillation. Anyways, so the thing that annoyed me the most, beyond the really stupid story setting, was that they did this effect where they would splatter something on the camera, the quote unquote camera. And at first I thought it was like the movie 300 or the TV series Spartacus, Sand and Steel? Mm-hmm. Sand and Blood. And where they would have a combat and the blood would splatter on the camera. And it's a digital effect, right? It's not real blood on a real camera, but so I thought, is that what they're doing? Is the blood supposed to? It's not blood; it's ink. And so it's as if a calligrapher is writing the history, and the Japanese calligraphy is done with a brush, and so it's like the droplets of ink from the brush because he's writing so furiously as the events unfold.
Well, it might be that he's having a stroke.
Yes, maybe.
That's why it makes no sense.
That's why it's complete nonsense. But that visual effect of a whole bunch of semi-translucent black splatters hitting the screen happens multiple times per episode, and it's incredibly annoying. Anyways, so if you want to see some, cartoon boobs, I guess watch Samurai Bride. Otherwise, there's much better stuff on. So,
wow.
Speaking of much better stuff that's on, we're about to head over to There's a Problem with Your Face and talk about all this stuff, but let our inner monsters out, and we're going to splatter some profanity on the microphones. So if you want to follow us over there and listen to that incredibly attractive thing that I just described, Steve will tell you how to do that.
Visit our website, aitrpodcast.com. There's links for every episode. We have full show notes for everything we discuss, and links to our social media, which is Twitter and Facebook and Patreon. Where for as little as $1 a month, you get twice the content, and you get to join the elite listeners who will support our show, kind of keep the servers running.
So we hope that you will do that and join us over there. And in the meantime, I'm Jeb Brack.
I'm Madison Matricula Roberts.
This was Tech Guy Steve.
And we'll talk to you next week.